Let's get this out to more groups.
Hello, all you beautiful people. Happy Wednesday to everyone here. And my apologies for being slightly late. I was a little bit late back home from work. But we made it. We all made it. And today I have with me my the two most favorite people of mine on Talk and Ball and Ellie for on YouTube. We have the most polite person on the internet. We have the goat Chang. So welcome, Chang. And after a long, long,
Thank you for having me.
long,
Yes.
after a long hiatus, long, long, long hiatus in which we missed her so much, so very much, we finally have Ellie with us. So,
Yes.
what an honor to everyone who's tuning in today. You have Ellie. How's it going, Ellie?
I'm really well, Ash. I'm looking after my daughter still, so I have to have the camera off because she could go on a tangent at any moment because she's got pain. But I'm here. I'm ready to cheer. Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah.
And Chang, how you doing? All good, Chang?
Doing very well here in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia. I'm doing very, very well here in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It was a very enjoyable weekend for every single one of us. That Crystal Palace win was very morale boosting, I have to say. And more of the same against Aston Villa this Sunday at Villa Park.
Woo.
Yeah, more of the same is absolutely right. Let's hope that's what happens. Um,
Yeah.
let's see who we have. One or two people here in the chat. Chris is there, the number one Agambar on the planet, saying namaste, ni hao. Hope you're all doing well. Uh, I hope you're doing well, Chris. And he's also saying big up to everyone in the chat, and he's excited like we are that Ellie is back.
Yay,
Uh,
Chris Agambar, the most precious Chris Agambar, always in everybody's chat. What a good supporter he is.
The best
Brilliant.
Agamba that there is in the world, hands down.
There, I second that.
Isn't I thought that, but I would like to point out, remind everyone that Holly is also an Agambar, if I'm not wrong.
I know. I know.
So,
And
Oh,
her
yes, that's correct.
Holly,
Holly Agamba from Holly's Hotspurs. Yes, that's correct.
Holly
I almost forgot
Hotspurs,
that.
yeah, brilliant channel. Brilliant.
so Chris, you won. We also have audio artisan here saying morning peeps or morning audio artisan. Glad to have you with us as as usual. Such a regular listener. I appreciate that you always tune in. And we have with us the goat, the wonderful, the supervisor with the mostest, El Tel Cockerel, saying, "Guess who's back? Back again. Ash is back. Tell a friend." Yeah, it's been a really long time for me as well. I've been so busy with work. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy that when I come back, I see both of y'all, Ellie and Chang, with me. So it's
Well,
wonderful. It's wonderful that these are the two people I get to hang out with on this wonderful Wednesday morning for some people, and afternoon for others, evening maybe even for some. But whatever time it is in the day, you get to hang out with Chang and Ellie. So that's a benefit.
yes.
Well, let's just get right down to it. Aston Villa. The game that everyone's been looking forward to for different reasons, for very, very different reasons. Before we come to all of those various reasons, we have a few injuries that we have to talk about. Uh, there are three players that are out injured that may or may not play. And so we're going to do a section called to start or not to start. So those three players are Pepe Martisar, Richarlison, and Pedro Porro. So let's start with Richarlison. Richarlison just came out saying that he's fit, and he feels like he's ready to play. Ellie, what do you think? Do you think we'll see Richarlison? Do you think he'll be on the bench? Do you think he'll start? What do you think, Ellie?
I think he's going to start. And I think they're going to put Sonny on the left wing as usual, because he's most poignant there. He makes a lot of chances, and I can see Werner playing like a false nine, maybe. Picking up the ball before Sonny gets it, and they can link up, and then possibly Kulu on the other side. But I can see him starting because I can't see no reason why Ange Postecoglou wouldn't put him straight back in on form only. You see, so form does count.
Chang, what do you think? Do you think Richie should play? Do you think he should be on the bench? Do you think he should start? Where do you stand with Richie?
I would like to start this off by saying that I would like to use this old cliche saying that if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's as simple as much as Richarlison is on a good goal scoring form, his purple patch this season, if you want to call it that way. I would actually prefer Timo Werner out on the left simply because I feel that we have the best forward in Son Heung-min to face Aston Villa. His XG in the league alone is enough. Is enough impetus for Ange to not change that starting trio of Son Heung-min, Timo Werner, and Kulusevski. And if Son Heung-min were to carry on from his goal scoring form as he displayed over the weekend against Crystal Palace, I would like to see him get more chance starting as a number 9 and maybe get another goal or two at Villa Park this Sunday. Richarlison, if he is fit, he should maybe start on the bench as opposed to maybe just starting off from the get-go, because we have seen similar fates befallen some of our players earlier this season. James Maddison and Benton Core, as well as I think it was either Bissouma or Pepe Natasa, when they came back from their international duties, when they started immediately, they didn't exactly hit the ground running. And I wouldn't expect Richarlison to do the same as well. If he were to feature in the game at some point, let's just keep it as a substitute. Let's not rush him back to the starting 11 just yet. Give Timo Werner a chance to start again, because now that he's just got his goal, that should be a confidence booster for him. And keep Kulusevski on the right as well, because he did contribute a lot more in the second half than he did in the first half. So if Big Ange is smart about it, he wouldn't feel Richarlison just yet.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah. Speaking about controversial, Lee's reminding us that you should be careful with the Richie talk. Smithy's here now, so he's saying, "Big up,
Yeah,
y'all." So, Chang, you better watch out. Smithy's
watch out.
taking notes. You better watch
Don't be
out.
hanging around White Hart Lane, Chang.
Yeah. And we have with us our favorite chef from Bolivia, Daniel Sandoval's here, saying, "One love,
Woo!
La
One
Familia."
love,
Yeah,
one heart. Let's get
absolutely,
together.
Daniel. One love. And Daniel's reminding us that if you get a membership on this channel, you get to be part of La Familia. So, everyone, if you aren't a member already, grab those memberships. Um, and
Yeah.
then Shem Tan is here saying, "Hello to the beautiful Ash, the
Mwah.
amazing Ellie, and the youngest looking old man, Chang."
Yeah, he
That's
look.
the
Chang
first. I've
looks
not heard
about
this one before.
12.
That's the first.
I always look. I
Honestly,
always think you look about 12, Chang. You're so young. That
yeah.
special cream you're using, or something you're
Wow.
doing.
Wow. That is a massive compliment. that would make me about one third of my current age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chang, he needs to scare his skincare routine with the rest of us. Clearly,
yeah.
he knows something we don't.
I think he's having collagen, honestly.
The secret actually is not really a secret. My routine is rather simple. Just get sufficient sleep, and of course, lots and lots of hydration. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean
lots of
I'm not
water.
asking you to drink like a fish. Neither am I getting you to take up alcohol, but just get fluids and enough sleep, and that should be a good balance to work that goes well with your diet.
Yeah.
Yes. So see, you on this channel you get football, but you also get skincare advice, and not from the people you expected to get skincare advice from.
I
Um,
know. This channel's
and then
versatile, isn't it?
yeah, and Daniel's saying Richie starts on the bench, Villa will leave a space on behind, and Werner on the left. Sunny through the middle would take more advantage of that with pace than Richie. I kind of wanted to discuss this as well, but I'd say hi to Kua first. Big up everyone. Need some tranquility from these lovely three panelists after the carnage that just happened on Mia's stream.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that stream. I gotta say, Ben and Mia, when you put them on the same screen together, it's always like
it's it's
fireworks.
comedy. It's comedy
Yeah,
gold and comedy fireworks, isn't it?
yeah.
That
But you know
that
what? They're
stream that just
friends.
ended on that stream that just ended on Spurs Between the Lines kind of reminded me about our Saturday fixture against Crystal Palace at home, because it started off well, it started off slow, it started off to build up, and then somewhere towards the middle, it's all started to kick off, and by the end, it was like a final flourish, just like our home win against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's
You
like
hear that,
they
Ben?
got the
It wasn't a
boxing
lucky
gloves out,
win.
innit? Mia got the boxing gloves out. Poof, 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 Ben, poof. I've got to watch it because I haven't seen it, so I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But I heard about it.
um we uh, we we have another person who was witness to that panel and very much part of the reason there were fireworks. Person we all love,
Jimbo,
um uh Jimbo. Hey, how you doing, Jim? Ash, he's saying
Jimbo,
Ash,
Jimbo.
Chang, hi all in chat. So Jim, no hi for Ellie. Oh wait, there is a hi for Ellie. He did not forget you, Ellie.
Yay! Come on, Jimbo.
And then Shemtan saying Chang's secret is buy a lot of Spurs shirt, flags, and banners and sit in this room all day and you'll be looking young forever. Really? That has not worked for me.
It could go the other way, can't it, Ash?
Yeah. And then Danny is saying, what did I miss? Danny, what you
Oh,
missed is us talking about your comment, which is this, which is that we should take advantage of Timo Werner's pace. And so Richie should be on the bench. And I kind of wanted to talk about that as well. Now, with a team like Villa, I reckon that it would be really useful to have a lot of pace. When we play with Richie on the left and Kulu on the right, there's just no pace there. There's nothing to sort of challenge them. Whereas with both Werner and Johnson, there's a lot of pace, and especially with Werner, he's one of the few uh, wingers we have who actually takes on his man to some extent. So, do you think, Ellie, that we should start Werner and Johnson simply to sort of like kill them with pace? Do you think that makes any sense?
I'm going to go at this as a logical assumption, right? So pace is really good, right? But I think because like I said, Richie has hit that purple patch, and it'll be a shame to drop him. I think it'll be best to have him in the middle. And if Porro's playing, if he pinpoints those corners, we've got a goal threat with the header. Because Richarlison is probably the best headerer of the ball in the league, apart from maybe Haaland. But then you got the pace of Johnson in terms of the tenacity and the hard working Kulu, who drives with the ball and keeps possession and also helps Porro when when he's needed. He's a very hard working player. So what you lose, I think, is too much over the pace. All right. So, but we can bring the pace on later. Yeah, that's our secret weapon, guys. Yeah, we hold it. We hold it like we did against Palace, and they got bamboozled by Johnson. Because if you start him, I think we lose something. Because he's not as good as tracking back and helping the defence. Because he hasn't quite got the physicality yet or the fitness. That's what I would say. So I would balance it out. Have Richie in the middle, Sonny on the left with the pace, Kulu with the tenacity on the right. I think that would work better for us against Aston Villa.
So, Ellie is putting Richie in the center. Chang, what do you think?
Yes.
Where do you think? Uh, what do you think should ideally? Should we kill them with pace? Should we start Sunny and Kulu on the wings? How do you see it playing out? Sunny in the center. Where do you see everyone's best position?
I would like to start with the same front three away at Villa Park, the same way we started at home against Crystal Palace. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the motto. So uh, rather than risk starting with Richarlison and rather than having him get those very bad first touches, his ball control, his overall hold up play, as well as his forward movement, rather than have him kill the momentum, rather than have him stagnate our forward movement. How about we keep him in reserve, keep him on the bench, start Son and keep Kulusevski on the right and Timo Werner on the left, and maybe bring on Brennan Johnson much later, sort of like a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer super sub at the later stage of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim agrees with you. Jim saying Johnson is our super sub. Uh,
Yeah, he is.
and Lee's saying Mia's stream was like the Jeremy Kyle show. I don't even know what the Jeremy Kyle show is because I'm not British.
You should watch
I
it.
think.
Ellie,
You should watch it.
I
You
think.
just have to watch a video.
I think Jimbo will remember Fairclough at Liverpool in the 70s and 80s. He was their super sub, all right, because he had lacked physicality, but he was a really good player to bring off the bench. We got to use Johnson like that, I think, until he gets his fitness, his match fitness, because I don't think he's quite there yet to play the 90 minutes. Yeah, and like I said, Kulu gives us more overall. Although he is frustrating, I know on the eye he's frustrating, but his stats are marvellous. So you can't fault him in regards to goal contributions.
yeah, that is true, but like those stats are also like earlier in the season, right? I mean, if you have to go game by game, like the last game, Kulu did like I love
Yeah,
Kulu. I'm one of those people who always sorts of supports Kulu, but like Kulu had a mid to bad game against Palace. If I'm being
yeah.
very very fair,
He did. He
uh,
had a bit of a stinker, but the
yeah,
Brighton match, he had a stinker right until 10, 15 minutes in that purple patch. He turned it on. He done a fabulous ball to Sarr to score. It was a defence splitting pass, and then he went off the boil again. So Ange Postecoglou took him off. I don't think he's quite fit. I don't know. There's something about Kulu that's missing this season. He's not quite doing it all the time. Whereas
yeah.
early doors, when we first signed him, he looked so fabulous. Yeah, so maybe he's still carrying a little niggle. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe he is. We gotta say hi to a few people. Quez Ali's here saying, "Hey y'all."
There's Ali.
Hey to Quez. And then
Hey,
Donna Collins here, as usual, saying Wagwan, Miss Aishwarya, Ni hao, Mr. Chang, and Kalimera, Miss Aglea. So,
nice one.
covering all the language bases there.
Kalimera
And
sir.
uh, there are a few more people who joined us. Then we have Gabbar saying, speaking in Hindi. That's too much for me to translate. So, uh, Daniel E is saying, what does Richie offer us at the moment other than his little purple patch? And he also ain't scored in his last two games. Richie can't hold up the ball. Good, his control. Darren Lee, be careful. Lee's listening to you.
I could
He's taking
disagree with
notes.
that. I could disagree with that, right? Because Richarlison, in the last two games that he played, he was holding the ball and driving. And don't you remember? He set up the goal. Really, he had the goal contribution, a pre-goal contribution, I must add, because he received the ball very nicely. He turned and had the presence of mind to pass it to Sonny. A beautiful weighted pass, I must add, because he could have overhit that, and his general play in and around the midfield where he's picking the ball up hasn't been that bad. Like, remember, he had the injury before and he couldn't turn properly. Now I think he's improved. I must give him kudos, and that wasn't just for Lee Smithy Smith. That's from my own eyes. What I've been seeing.
Chang, what do you think? Chang?
Well, Richarlison, as much as he is our current number nine, and as much as he is the forward, other than Sonny with the most goal contributions, there is still that question mark of how often, or rather, uh, how consistent can he keep up with his performances. Yes, it's good that he's getting a goal every other game or even an assist if it fancies him. But when it comes to the big matches, the matches that really matter, especially this coming Sunday away at Villa Park against Aston Villa, can he repeat that goal scoring form, or can he keep up with his goals and assists, his XG? Can he outperform his XG in these big matches that we really need the goals and the contributions from him? That is something that he still needs to address. And how should I? How? I mean, okay, I'll just try and offer a neutral perspective on Richarlison. Now that the weekend is almost upon us, if Big Ange feels that he is the forward for us going forward from now to the end of the season, or even next season and beyond, that will be up to him. But from a fan's perspective, if I had to choose, say, between Richarlison and maybe say an Ivan Toney, I would take Ivan Toney. Maybe not now, not after that bad publicity is having, but in terms of a complete striker between Ivan Toney and a Richarlison, I would definitely prefer Ivan Toney. That's just my opinion of how I feel Richarlison is not at all that suited to the Big Ange system. Although I feel that Big Ange is starting to get a tune out of him, and his goal scoring record says that much about him. So Richarlison still has some of his doubters to answer to, and if he can get more goals and assists between now and the end of the season, good for him, because it will do him a world of good.
Yeah. Audio Artisan is happily giving me a reference. I do know the Jerry Springer show. So now I know exactly what the Jeremy Kyle show is like. And we have, ladies and gentlemen, a superstar in the house. Just a girl who loves Spurs and who loves
Woo!
terraces. And
Okay.
loves. So basically, we have VVVVVIP saying Richie is not good enough, in my opinion, but I would rather invest in decent wingers than a striker. Um, yeah, I would agree. I think whether Richie is good enough or not, I think we have to invest in decent wingers. And I think that since uh, like the number of things that we have to worry about uh, there's a long list of things we have to worry about. I would say our first priority is wingers rather than strikers. So I would agree with Kate there, but I do think we need a striker. I still think we need like a natural goal scorer. Somebody who match after match will guarantee you goals. It doesn't have to be at the level of Kane, but somebody like like Aston Villa has Ollie Watkins. He's physical. He guarantees you a goal every second game. Like that sort of striker, I think, just somebody who's a goal scorer. Because as much as I love all of our players, they're almost all of them purple patch players. When they're scoring and they're in form, they're amazing. But when they're not, they leave something to be desired. So I'd like people who are not in form but can still tap in that goal last minute and just win us the game. Um, uh, Shem Tan has a question I'd like you to answer, Ellie. He's saying, why does our team look so disjointed and disconnected? We look like a bunch of individuals on the pitch that hasn't played together before. No rhythm to our passing or play. Do you agree with that, Ellie? Ellie?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was letting my tumble dryer man in to fix my
Uh,
tumble dryer. Sorry about that. Yeah. What was the
Shemtan,
question?
Shemtan is asking why our team looks so disjointed and disconnected that we look like people
Yeah.
who haven't played together before.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. It's like, do you know what it is, right? It's our movement is not good, right? We're not moving into space and creating angles for the players who are creative to pick the ball up, to pass the ball to them. Sorry. So when they pick the ball up, they're looking around. They're looking around. There's nothing on, so they're passing sideways and backwards, right? So that's not their fault. That's because they don't see any movement to make a goal or at least get in on goal, right? Because the low blockers, they're very good at pressing. So you have to beat the press by moving, right? And we've been very stagnant and we've been very static with our movement. So that's how I see it because I was a midfielder as well when I played. And if I didn't have any movement, I would shout. So the communication has to be there as well, Ash and Chang. When you're in a football team, you've got to all be talking with one another, and there's a lack of communication. You have to, and also direction from the leaders in the team, like Romero and Madison. They are leaders, plus Sonny. You've got to get everybody going and geeing them up, get that energy into them. Soon as you walk onto that green grass, you have to have the energy, right? We've been a bit stale and a bit too slow with our movement and our passing. So we got to improve on that. And I'm sure Ange is working on that because that is key to unlocking defences.
Yeah, I'm sure he is as well. And um, we have another person, another of the match analysis gang that y'all have with Spurs Between the Lines and
Woo!
just girls who love Spurs. Mia's here. Mia's been a member for as long as
Sure,
there have ever
Mia.
been
Woohoo!
memberships. Saying big up, guys. Big up to you, Mia, and thank you for the redirect. We appreciate it a lot. And then Kuva is saying superstar. Oh, it's I didn't recognize her typing without Mickey Hazard being name dropped every other sentence. Um, so yeah, we Kate, that's on you. You tell him that you can have a conversation without dropping
Can
Mickey
I can
Hazard.
I just answer Ben because he's put we're too narrow, Ellie. The reason why we're too narrow, Ben, is because of the movement. You've got to move out wide. You've got to create angles. You've got to make those runs that that the killer pass can come to you. You know that's what makes the difference between a team that's going to score lots of goals and a team that's struggling. All right, we scored three, but when we are struggling to get results over the line when we've had that low block. All right, because even against Brighton, who do come at you, they are very good defensively. So we have to move more and create more angles.
Chang, do you agree with Ellie?
One
Or
hundred percent, yes, absolutely. I totally agree with everything that Queen Ellie has just said. Because, all right, there are two aspects of looking at this, but from a very neutral fan point of view, we want to be entertained. We want to see attacking, aggressive, and attractive football. So if there is a lull in play, or if the fans feel that the performances aren't exactly living up to expectations, we will make it known. We will make our feelings known. We will voice it out in uh, channels and environments and chats like this. And that I feel uh, it can be looked at it from a positive and a negative point of view. But for us as fans, we hope for the best from our team. We hope that Big Ange knows what he's doing. He feels the best possible players that he can on the day, and that the players themselves who take to the pitch or come onto the pitch at any stage of the game, they are up for it. They are ready to give their all on the day for the club, for the crest, for the club, and also the fans. And we would like to see entertainment. That's what we, the fans, would expect from any of these games, much less the players themselves.
Yeah, because football's
Yeah.
about desire, Ash and Chang, right? If you go on that pitch and you have the desire and you have the heart to play for your club, and you go on that pitch with that attitude and the mentality to win the game, you invariably win the game. Even if the other team are more technical than you can still beat them.
Yeah, speaking about desire, Daniel E is saying that he doesn't care if people don't like his opinions about Richie, but he has standards for this club and it's higher than Richie. So,
I
desire,
agree.
ambition, we got it all going on today at this show. So, Daniel Lee, you better watch out. Daniel's coming for you back. So, everyone, uh, Daniel's there to fight the Guardians of the Pombo. And we have talking about people who fight the Guardians of the Pombo. We have Ben saying hey to everyone, um, and everyone saying hi to each other.
Yeah, there's lots of
Uh,
love.
and then Lee's coming back at him. I love this. I love Lee and Daniel. Please fight all you want in the chat. That's where it's at. Saying all you do is complain. Can't you back the players we have now that wear our shirt? Um, and then yeah, so no punching needed. That's about Mia and her twins. So everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's enjoying themselves. Ben is coming back at you, Ellie, saying the problem with that, Ellie, is the fullbacks restrict the space because they are taking up the spaces midfielders should be. Fullbacks should be the ones stretching the pitch. Chang, what do you think? Do you think our fullbacks are just too because of the inverted thing? They're just everyone's just on top of each other. It just there's no pockets of space being created or width being created.
There are also two ways of looking at this: our fullbacks and the inverted fullbacks that Ange wants us to play. You could argue that the fullbacks, or rather the inverted fullbacks, only works when we have the players who can play that. So we saw that ourselves a fortnight ago when we lost that disappointing game to Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, whereby Ben Davies and Emerson Royal were completely out of depth, trying
Yeah.
to uh, be a very a poor man's version. They were trying to be a poor man's imitation of Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogi respectively. So unless you have the players who can play those inverted fullback roles, unless you have the ability to even carry out the instructions that Big Ange requires of his fullbacks doing that inverted role, I'm afraid it's not going to come to fruition. And I was rather disappointed that Big Ange didn't go to a back three of just Romero, Van der Ven, and Dragushin against Wolverhampton Wanderers, because
Yeah.
we saw it for ourselves. It was pointless having Ben Davies and Royal there when they can't do that inverted fullback. And when we are going to get Udogi and Pedro Porro back, hopefully sooner rather than later, then we will see the benefits of having those inverted fullbacks and just how well they uh, help with the overall flow of our game, our attack especially. And that frees up so much more space for our midfielders, for our forwards, even our back four, our back line, when they do the high press and push further up the pitch to win back possession and to really get stuck in the opposition half.
Yeah.
Alan, I really hope this isn't true. Alan is saying 6 months in, what do you expect? Klopp, 8 years, Pep the same. Spurs fans love moaning, bring back Conte, I say. I really hope Conte doesn't come back. Anything is preferable to that. I think he's a great manager, but I think that he's just not right for this club. And I would rather see us losing the way we did to Chelsea than to watch any more Conte ball. Thank you very much. I get up at 2 o'clock in the night to watch these games. I do not require it to be Conte ball.
Yeah,
Um,
well said,
uh,
Tash.
and Shemtan saying we don't spread the pitch out. We call for better wingers, but we tell them to invert. We call for better wing backs, but then tell them to invert. It doesn't work and leaves us wide open to wide attacks. Uh, you know what?
Yeah,
I don't completely agree with this. I think it's. I tell you what it is. You know, if you change the system because you don't have two players who can't, if you have two players who can't play it, uh, the other players are still learning the system. It takes about a year and a half for a manager to truly sort of explain and instruct people on his system. Like you can see it with all of the great managers, Pep, Klopp. They took a year to teach their team to play that sort of system. So I think that if you change the way you work because you don't have the one or two players that you require to make it work, what happens often is that you um, confuse the other players by giving them instructions that are contrary to your general instructions. So
yeah,
I feel like because I would rather lose the battle but win the war than lose the then have like momentary gains now, and then in the future we're back to sort of being like a cowardly Spurs that uh, that doesn't really achieve much. And I think on the inverted fullbacks system, I think that honestly, in football, I truly believe this. You can play any system. You can play the way Ancelotti plays. You can play the way Klopp plays. You can play the way Pep plays. You can play the way Ange plays. If your players are well drilled and have a high quality, and they know exactly what to do to counter the opposition, you can win games. So it's
yeah,
not about if the manager knows exactly what he wants out of his team and his team is capable of pulling off that performance. For example, if Pep plays with the Burnley team, even if he like company tried this, right? You play with the Burnley team, you can play Pep style all day long. You're just going to get smashed 5-0. But if you're playing with the quality of players of KDB and Haaland and you play Pep style, you're going to win the league every single day. So that's the difference. So like there is a twofold issue. One is that you have to understand the system, which is what we're trying to do, and the second thing is you have to find the quality of players that can play that system and only that system, because there are players like, I believe this is happening to Kulu right now, who may have succeeded in other systems but who are not particularly suited for Ange ball. I think that
yeah,
Kulu is a great player. His hold up play is amazing. His like defensive abilities are amazing, and under a manager like Conte, that works extremely well because you're constantly asked to uh, sort of go back, help with the defending. Plus, you have to sort of hold up the ball a lot because you're playing counter-attacking football. But in Ange ball, sometimes his cutting in and sort of not taking on his man have hurt us in the past. So it is, and like Hoybier, Hoybier is a good player, but this doesn't suit him. This is not a system for him. So yeah, this sorry, I went on a long rant there. So
no,
I
no, it's okay. I was just gonna cut. I was just gonna say, right? He does. He doesn't move from his philosophy of football, but what he does, when he's got Emerson in the team, he says keep it simple. Like Porro's got more ability, right? He can drive with the ball. He can beat players. He can pass very well, and he knows Emerson is limited in that area. So what he does, he plays the same role as Porro. He inverts, but he plays simple, right? Which is good. And with Davis, when Davis is in the team, he doesn't drive forward like Udogi, right? Because he knows Postecoglou's not stupid. He knows Davis and Emerson Royal are not as good as Porro and Udogi. So he gives them simple tasks to do within the system. And I think he's done very well because we've got really good results out of bad performances sometimes because we haven't been on our game. But because they're keeping it simple and not overstretching themselves like Udogi and Porro do, Um, you'll find that VDV has to do a lot more work because of it, because we get caught because those two players are not as good in the system as the Poro and Yudogi. But you know, Postecoglou, he's not stupid. He wants to win the match, but he gives instructions to each player on their abilities. You know, and I think he does adapt in that sort of role. You know, even within his role, he adapts those two players if he has to play them because of injuries.
Yeah. And Kate, who was shopping while she was on the terrace, at least according to Jim, has now gotten her shopping delivered. So,
Oh,
that's how now we know exactly how fast Amazon works in the UK. Um,
yeah.
and
It depends what
I got
shopping you've got, if it's food shopping or Amazon. Mind you, you can do shopping for food on Amazon as well.
yeah, you can. We have that
Yeah,
here, Amazon Fresh.
yeah.
And we got to say hi to a few people. Dirty Sanchez is here saying hello, Asia. We have Asia and we have a little bit of Greece with us. So, you
Woo!
know, the entire Silk Route.
Hey,
Um, and then we have Ronnie here saying hello, Mr. Chang, Queen Ellie, Ash.
hello.
Um, I will come back to your question, Ronnie. I've got to say hi to a few more people. Phil is here saying if the players are good enough, you can play any system. I agree with that, Phil. Um, and then we have Elias here saying hello, guys. Hello, Elias. Another person from Malaysia. Elias is in Malaysia as well, right? Um,
Yeah, he is.
and then Kate saying it was only Asda. um, Okay, I gotta go back to the comments. Here we go. Oh, I forgot to say hi to Basanti. So there is a classic Bollywood movie called Sholay, and we have all of the characters from that here today. We have Gabbar Singh, we have Basanti. So thank you all of the actors from Sholay for turning up. Um,
Woo!
and Tommy is asking, how about Radu, Romero, VDV at the back and put Udogi and Poro as wingers? Speaking about Poro, do you think, Ellie, Poro will start come on the bench, start training this weekend, or do you think that it's going to take him a week more?
The indications that he's making good progress, but it's touch and go. But I just hope he is playing because he offers so much more than Emerson. It's evident, isn't it? In the way we play, he gives us more juice up front as well. When he joins the attack and he does those killer passes, and obviously his corners as well. They're really good corners and set pieces. So we need Porro, and he can score a goal. Although he's only scored one this season, he has got a good shot on him, and he's been unlucky on a few occasions, hitting the post on and the bar on a couple of occasions. But you know, he just offers a lot more than Emerson. It's no spite on Emerson because when he's come in, he's done an okay job. He hasn't let us down as such in most of the matches that he's played. So I just like to see him come more forward, even more. And obviously, with Kulu playing on the right, that helps him as well because he can venture forward and he'll know that there'll be VDV backing him up because VDV he covers the whole of the defensive line anyway. So I'm looking forward. I hope he does start because we need pace as well to help Kulu out, who lacks pace, but he's a good ball carrier. So I'm just praying that he is a starter.
Yeah. And what do you feel about what Ronnie's suggesting, which is three at the back and then put Poro and Udogi as wingers? Ellie?
There
Yeah.
are there are arguments that maybe.
Was that
Yeah,
to
go ahead,
Chang?
Chan. Go ahead.
Oh, apologies. I thought that question was for me, but okay. I'll just answer Ronnie's question here very quickly. Three at the back only works if the opposition are actually sitting back, like they're actually not actively pressing. Because if they are, then three at the back will actually stifle our midfield. It might be counterproductive. So if let's say we were to deploy a back three of Dragushin, Romero, and Mickey Van der Ven as centre backs, that will actually help our midfield to maybe spread out more. Now that they have three at the back, maybe help them to push up if one of the centre backs acts as an auxiliary defensive midfielder. Uh, against Aston Villa on the weekend, I wouldn't do that. Honestly, if the system isn't broke, don't try to fix it. The only time I might actually seriously consider doing what Ronnie's suggesting as to put three centre backs is if we play against, let's say, a Liverpool away at Anfield later this season, or even against Manchester City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium later this season as well. These are the only matches in which I would seriously consider having three centre backs, because otherwise, that would not only would that not help us, it would actually make it all that more difficult for the ball to transition from defense to midfield to our forwards, if that makes any sense. Because when you add that extra defensive player at the back, that will either take one midfielder away from it, or maybe even take a forward player away from the forward line, and that's not going to help us win any points. Because right now we are, although we are sitting comfortably in fifth, we would definitely like to push on to consolidate on fourth. So having three at the back would actually stifle us rather than help us. I would see that back three maybe as a last resort to maybe park the bus if we are leading late on against Liverpool, Arsenal, or even Manchester City. Then yes, that's the only time I would deploy a back three centre back.
Alan's informing us. Thank you, Alan, for informing us. I thought you were serious. Give Ange 6 months. You can't have a baby. Time needed. Absolutely. If you can't have a baby, managers should all be judged on pregnancy gestation periods. That is going to be my new rule from now on. Give every manager 9 months. If you can't have a baby, you can't judge the manager. And then yeah, I agree with this, Phil.
So funny,
Absolutely.
Ash. Big up to the ladies who carry babies.
Yeah, babies are hard to carry.
Yeah,
And then look at Ellie. She's taking care of her baby even now.
I
Um,
am.
and then Ku was saying we have a habit of bigging up average players and then blaming the manager when it doesn't work. Yeah, I agree with this. Ellie, what do you think? Do you think that we sometimes like
Um,
hype up our players too much and then expect it to work?
I don't. No, I don't agree because most people they dig out the average players anyway. Most fans
Yeah.
they do because I know I get it with Højbjerg. I just like Højbjerg for different reasons because I like that type of player who gets stuck in. He's not technically gifted. He's not this, that, and the other. But I'm not hyping him. I know he's frailties, and most fans they've got favourites, but they do know they've got frailties and weaknesses, and they will admit it. So I don't agree with that. I think we're quite an honest fan base as well. We're quite boisterous with our opinions, but I think they're quite fair. Like everybody knows Richie. He's got his frailties and his weaknesses. We call them out. We don't hide behind this notion that they're fantastic. Everybody's got their opinions, obviously, but you like players for certain reasons, don't you? Right, and you will big them up in terms of the reasons why you like them, but you're honest about them, and I think most of our fan base are like that because I'm at the stadium, not week in week out, but when I am at the stadium, I hear things more controversial than YouTube as well. In terms of what I think of a player, but it's honest. It's from the heart most of the time as well. You know, and
Yeah.
I think we are a very open, honest fan base.
Yeah. I kind of, so like this is a perfect example, this discussion right now, right, of what you were saying. Because Lee's Daniel asked Lee if we could get all the money back for Richie, would you not take the money and then upgrade? And then Lee's saying, of course I would upgrade, but I don't think he's as bad as you complain about. So like Lee likes Richarlison, and obviously he defends him, but at the same time, like he's very honest about the fact that he would definitely upgrade because obviously he loves Spurs more than he
Yeah.
loves any one player. So I think that's a perfect example of what you were saying, Ellie. Chang, what do you think? Do you think we big up our players too much and then sack the manager if it doesn't go right?
I wouldn't say that we big up our players too much, rather than we actually expect a lot more from them. Our expectations, our hopes, and also maybe our dreams, not just for the club, but for each and every individual player, is it differs from fan to fan. But we have so high hopes, we have so much expectations of these players that if they do not deliver, we feel very let down. We feel very disappointed, and that maybe we might have misplaced our faith and our trust in them, and that in part also leads to maybe being a bit over judgmental, or maybe we are too quick to pass judgment onto them when when the players themselves clearly can't live up to our expectations, whether it's in part by the price, or rather the price that comes with their transfer, or maybe the sort of expectancy that comes with a certain player of a certain caliber from a big club, or even from the youth or from the academy players. So we ourselves as fans, we would like our players to do well, but if they don't do well, rather than uh, complain and give too much criticism to them, give them our backing, give them support, cheer them on, hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out for them, then at least they can say they tried, rather than getting on the players' back. The way you would see, I believe it was Hoybier and Pedro Porro. If you remember last season under Conte, both these players had to disable or terminate their social media accounts after one bad home league game, I believe it was, that led to Pedro Porro and Hoybier disabling their social media. And then later, this season itself, last week, when we saw Ryan Sessegnon take to social media to post that message about how he's struggling with his injuries, and that he can't wait to get back on the pitch, and that he would then put out this message to fans, asking them to not get on the players' back when they are not doing too well, or when they're picking up injuries. It's things like this maybe that we ourselves as fans, we have that responsibility to maybe be more careful with what we say, especially on social media, or even on channels like this, what we're doing now, because things like this, we will work, things that we say, it will somehow get into the mentality of the fans that either attend the games at the stadium, or even who voice their opinions out on channels like this. So rather than rather than get on the players' back, get behind them, support them, and if it doesn't work out well, the players strike. That's the best that we can say about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And uh, S- Swap is here after really, really long. So, hi, Swap. Where you been? And he's saying that we should give Ange time, and it takes time. Look at, and he's also pointing to Arsenal. It took a lot of time for Arsenal to reach where they're at. You know, eighth, fifth, second. So progression every season, but it took a lot of time and a lot of work and many transfer windows. That's what he's trying to say. I agree. Like I said, now we are using the baby rule forever. 9 months you give the manager because that's how long it takes to have a baby. And then Ben saying, I prefer to see a more orthodox 4-3-3. Let
Yeah,
midfielders be
never
midfielders, let
do that.
fullbacks be
See,
fullbacks.
Angie's never going to do that because that's not his way of playing. So whatever we prefer to see, we're not going to see it because Angie's very stubborn. He trusts his system. It's not just stubbornness. He trusts what he's done in the past. And people say, "Oh, but that was in the Farmers League. That was in the Scottish League." But you're still playing against 11 men with that system, and it succeeded. And remember, he's been the coach of Australia's youth, and he's won the Asia Cup with Australia, and he comes from very good stock. He was under Pushkas. He came from very good stock as a player, and then he became a coach. And he's come to England to, show what he can do. And in his first season, he's won three manager of the months, and he broke a Premiership record. Right, then we got the injuries and the suspensions, and then it started going a little bit to pot because we didn't have that quality when we needed it, the first 11. So I think he's done very, very well with the system that he's playing. So, like Chang says, if it's not broke, don't break it. And remember as well, right, if we had beaten two of those teams that we lost to and won our game in hand, we'd be 2 points behind Arsenal only. So there's not much, there's a fine line in football, whether you succeed and become successful or you fall back, a peg or two. All right. So we've got to look at these factors that have influenced why we're not quite there at the top, because we have been performing before that period. We were the best team to watch, and we still are a very attractive team to watch, but we've slowed our game down a bit. So that's up to Ange to make sure that the intensity is there in the first half and the second half.
Yeah, and the truth is that this is the manager we hired, right? Like however you feel about the decisions the club makes, we had the opportunity to get Poch. If we had Poch, we would probably be playing a 4-3-3, you know, or we'd probably be playing with sort of wide fullbacks at least. So that's not the manager we hired. We hired Ange for this playing style. So now we have to put our trust in the playing style that he has been hired for, because there are other managers out there who play 4-3-3, and we could have hired them. And so I'm saying, talking about back three, maybe y'all didn't notice that Bissu was dropping more frequently into centre back positions during attack build up, due to which our build up was more fluid than previous games. I think in general, Bissouma had a better game. The Crystal Palace game was perhaps in a long while his best game since that
The
Luton
second half.
game. That
Yeah. In the second half, the first half, I was very disappointed with Bissouma because he was playing it too simple. He was doing a Harry Winks style play, sideways and backwards, sideways and backwards. And I was screaming, please, Bissouma, because he's got so much ability to drive with that ball. And I know he was told to play a certain role, but you can still pick out a pass. And he wasn't picking it out. And there was some movement for him because I was watching. Because I like Bissouma a lot. I think he's a fabulous player, but he hasn't been performing to his standards. All right, so he has to pick up his game.
Yeah. Chang, did you watch Bayern versus Lazio yesterday?
Mm.
I didn't watch the entire match. I did see maybe the last half hour or so of the match when I woke up around 5 a.m. in the morning. And I also watched the replay and the two Harry Kane goals. That's all I watched about it. But yeah, it was a good performance by Bayern Munich, and good to see Harry Kane back in the goals, especially in Europe, and they managed to turn it around. They turned the 1-0 away deficit to a 3-1 win against Lazio. And I really do hope that Bayern Munich do go on all the way to win the Champions League, because if there is one silverware, if there is one trophy that Harry Kane would love to win more than any other trophy, it would be the Champions League.
Yeah, I actually want that for him as well. Like, I know a lot of people are just like traitor, Judas, whatever, but I kind of want him to win something, because I don't want that to, like, he's a quality player. I think he's world class, and if he retires without winning something, everyone will always say that he's never world class because he never took his team to victory. So I don't want that tag to hang over his head. If he wins at least like a Champions League, there'll be something at least for him to sort of hang his hat on and say, look, I did that. So yeah, I kind of wish that for him as well.
Yeah.
Alan saying, I wish we could take a part of Kulu game and a part of Brennan's game, and what a player that would be.
I
Yeah,
know.
don't we all?
Yeah, it's such a shame because I remember when we had Lucas Moura and Lamella, and I was thinking, give Lucas, give Lamella Lucas his pace, and give Lucas his physicality and his shithousery, because Lucas was too nice, you know.
Yeah.
But we get that in players, and it's just such a shame. You know, I wish we could have that one perfect player like Sonny, because Sonny is, I think he's fabulous. He's got pace, he's got goal scoring, he assists, he's fabulous. But we haven't got another player, maybe Madison, but even him, he's gone off the ball a little bit now. But he's just come back from injury, so you expect that. But we haven't got that perfect player like a Dembele,
Yeah.
pace, power, strength, passing ability. You know, we
Yeah,
need that again.
I reckon that Kane was the perfect player. Like if you think about it, he could
Yeah,
defend. Like, in his own box, he could defend. He was a
yeah,
decent defender.
fantastic footballer.
He could play anywhere on that midfield, I think, because his passing ability, his hold up play, everything is so good.
Yeah,
And he doesn't have pace, but he has a lot of like he can definitely do ball carrying. So I think he could play anywhere in a midfield. And if you think about, and definitely, obviously, he can be a forward.
yeah,
Maybe not a winger, but he could definitely be a different sort of winger and striker. There are no doubts that he's an amazing striker. So I think the
yeah.
perfect player was Harry Kane.
Yeah, like Kane reminded me of Sheringham or not, but he's even better than Sheringham. I know that
Yeah.
might be controversial because some people they love Teddy Sheringham, but I just think he was like him. He lacked pace, but he's got all the intelligence and the movement and the finishing up in his head. You know, he's got it all there, and then like you said, he drops into midfield and he's plays that perfect pass to Sonny all the time. How many assists did they have between them that season when Sonny won the Golden Boot? It was amazing. All right, and he's just got this radar. Harry Kane, he can pinpoint those passes, and also, like you said, Ash, fantastic in defence. You know, what a great player we lost. What a great player.
But we move on. The future is still
We
bright.
have
It's
to
still
move
looking bright.
on.
And
Yeah,
Ben, I truly believe that like I had no expectations, and I'm definitely it's the season isn't over. I can only say whether I am excited or disappointed about a season at the end of it. And I
yeah,
really hope that you don't feel disappointed anymore, because I feel like slowly but steadily we will improve if we just have faith that we'll get there. And
yeah. True. I have to
uh,
big up my boy Alex, right? Alex, box office Alex, right? Because when we made top four in that first season of Conte's, it was so fabulous. At the last game, I think we were playing Burnley, and the music was outside the grand, and me and Alex were dancing a jig. It was so good. Like we were related because Conte in that first season, we must admit he did raise our standards in regards to the results and getting us over the line to finish top four. Obviously, it would have been nicer if we finished a bit higher, but he took over half season, didn't he? So, you know, he done a fantastic job. But then the second season, it fell off a bit, and he fell off the wagon a bit, got ill, and it all went to pot, didn't it? But I'm bigging up my boy box office Alex. What a great man! And you know what? He's a fantastic supporter of the club. He wants better. That's all. Yeah.
um, gotta say hi to a few people. Rich is here. Hi, Rich. We will come back to your question after I finish saying hi to people. And we have Tricky One. Hey, Tricky One. We also got David Shears here saying, "What the heck?"
God.
Hey, David, my favorite trio. Uh, yeah, David, I'm so fortunate. When Ellie said that she had some free time and she could jump on, I was so happy. I was like, Chang and Ellie together. That's like my Wednesday dream come true. It's even
Yeah.
better than Penn's, BB day. Uh,
I had a lovely
and
chat
then
with David last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I did. I was still awake. I don't sleep, you see.
yeah, yeah, join the club, Ellie. Me
Yeah, you know
neither.
what I mean.
And then we have Adrian. It's been a while since I've seen you, Adrian. Good afternoon to you. Um, and then David saying, "Chang, a thorn between two roses." Oh no, we have established, David, in this show that Chang has the best skincare routine of all the three of us. So you must know that there's a rose there.
You know what? That reminds me, right? There was a show from Australia called Prisoner Cell Block H, and there was a
Uh-huh.
song called "Torn Between Two Lovers, Feeling Like a Fool." That's Chang's song from now on. "Torn Between Two Roses."
Look at Chang's face. Somebody should take a picture of that
Don't
face.
tell the wife.
Oh, and in all of this confusion, I think I have lost the chat. Um,
Come on,
we have
come on, I'll
Elias
still
saying we're
find it.
creating but not finishing this season. Richarlison has been scoring goals, but he can do more given the chances we've created for him in this entire season. Yeah, I agree with this. Like, think about the previous game is a perfect example. We had so many touches in the box, but we had nothing. That final thing, shot, that final pass, something that converts into a goal. That we were always lacking. That deadly threat, like that killer edge. That's what we were lacking. We had I don't remember the statistic, but I think that we had like some 35 touches in the box or something like that. It was some crazy number. And then Alan saying hit the like button. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Alan. I always forget to tell people. Everyone, smash them likes. Uh,
Yeah.
and in fact, I can't stand so-called Spurs supporters slagging off our own players. Yeah, I think that it's fine to be hard on your team and expect them, keep them to a high standard. But the kind of hate that some of our players receive on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media, I don't think that that's warranted. They're out there trying. They're doing a job at the end of the day. And as long as they play for the badge and they put in 100% every day, I don't care if it's Richie or Brennan or anyone else, Ryan Sessegnon as well. You just gotta be as kind as possible. They're human beings at the end of the day, and yeah, like Rich is saying the same thing as somebody said earlier. It took time for Arsenal as well, but Chang, 100 million Rice, would we ever do that?
Depends on actually whom we sign, whom we get in the summer window to bolster the squad. There are a few people, or rather, there are a few fans who feel that this particular summer transfer window is going to be the last chance saloon for Daniel Levy and Enoch to finally prove their worth. We have already been officially crowned FFP champions a month ago at the end of the January transfer window. So I see no reason why we shouldn't be breaking the bank to bring back none other than Harry Kane from Bayern Munich if we are serious in taking that next big leap into challenging on all four fronts. Because for me, as much as I would like Richarlison to do well at Spurs, as much as I feel that there is still a player in Richarlison and that he still has potential in his growth, there is none other than I would like to bring in the summer other than Harry Kane. For me, I believe Queen Ellie has already mentioned it a few minutes earlier. He is the perfect player. He is the all-rounder, complete footballer that has ever played for Spurs. And who else, who better than to get in the summer transfer window than Harry Kane himself, one of our own. Hopefully, he'll be back sooner rather than later for Spurs to finally break Alan Shearer's record. But more than anything, we would like him to come back to contribute to the goals and assists that would, well, I wouldn't say we will win the league outright, but we will challenge maybe for top two, top three, maybe even finally getting a domestic trophy either in the League Cup or the FA Cup. But yes, for me, Harry Kane, he has to come back sooner rather than later. And if there was a better opportunity, it would be this coming summer transfer window.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't agree with that 100%. I feel like as much as I loved Kane, I feel like we do have to look forward now.
yeah,
I do feel like we should get a big transfer. Like I do think that it's great that we're focusing on kids, etc. But it'd be nice to sort of get, like, if we're going to be doing kids, I want to see a kid who's just the best talent out there.
yeah.
Like Musiala, right? Musiala is 19 or something. He's the best, right?
He's
The best
brilliant.
number 10.
Yeah,
He's like he has the kind of future that a best number 10 would have, you know. Obviously Bellingham and all are now established, but there are players like that who are like the best wonder kids. If we're going to get the kids, get the best ones. And you know,
yeah,
like if we're gonna and I feel like we do also need, like, if you look at the Liverpool game, the people who won that game were not the kids. The people who won that game were Van Dijk, were Kelleher, were Konate. It was their experienced players that got them over the line. So I
yeah,
think that I really hope that we get somebody like that as well. We more leaders in the dressing room, more Premier League proven players. Uh,
yeah.
so um, and then I I gotta say hi to a few people before I ask you my next question, Ellie. Um,
Okay.
we got Merovingian here after really, really long. Kane is not winning the UCL. Sorry. Yeah, it's true. I don't think he is
Mm.
either. Bayern team are so bad. Um, and we have Indian Guna here. Indian Guna, why don't you go to Will's channel and tell him that? I'm sure he'd appreciate you being there. But it's been a long time, Indian Guna. Hi to you. Um, co- Coming back to the chat, Ben is saying we need English teams to do well for coefficient. Ellie, Aston Villa has a match on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I think
Um, no,
let me
Wednesday.
just check. I think it's on Thursday. I'll just check for you. Thursday. Are they playing? Yeah, they playing Ajax away. So that's good
Yeah,
for us. That's good for us because they might. I wouldn't wish them to pick up injuries, but they might pick up injuries and jet lag and everything. So they've only got really 2 days to prepare for the match. So it could work in our favour. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. I think it'll help. Although I don't think that Aston Villa, although their team is really, really good, I do think that the pressure of playing in Europe is going to affect their form. But still, like,
yeah,
their home form is really good. So you never know.
yeah.
Um, uh, and Daniel Lee is saying, when Spurs fans call Harry Kane Judas, they need a reality check. Yeah, that's true. He gave us the best years of his life. Uh, and Tricky say, give Kulu Johnson space. Yeah, that'd be some player. It's true.
I know.
Um, and then Tricky's also saying Pete Gascoigne was the perfect player, could do everything. Yeah,
Yeah, give Kulu Gascoigne's right foot. That
my
would be the
God.
perfect player then.
Or just find a way to de-age Gascoigne. Then we don't need Kulu
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, put him in like a cryo chamber and bring him back.
Yeah, yeah. And then Tricky is saying Sheringham was class, such a clever player.
I
But then
know,
Ben is saying Kane
brilliant.
is a better player than Pomp Sheringham. So Ben falling into trouble with the oldies
He's a
again.
better
The earlier
all-round
in the group
player. He
chat,
is. I don't
in the
think
group chat,
maybe Bobby would disagree with that, but I think Kane's just another little level above Teddy Sheringham. But although Teddy Sheringham was a fabulous footballer and great vision, like you can't really separate them really. The only thing you can separate is their goal scoring prowess, because obviously Harry Kane has got a higher ceiling with his goal scoring. Yeah, but in general play, I think they're about equal. I would say not one's better than the other.
yeah. Um, Daniel is saying uh, you can box. I think he's talking about Alex box office. He's saying instead of saying he hates Ange, maybe he should just say he don't rate Ange. Hate is a strong word.
I don't know if he's ever said hate. I'm not sure. I've never heard him say that, but he might have said it. I don't think he did. But, everybody's got their opinions on different managers and different players. So it comes from the heart. Sometimes because you want better, but, I think Ange is the answer. I really do. And he reminds me of Bill Nicholson, the way he speaks, the way he holds
Yeah.
himself, the way he wants to play football, you know. So big up to Big Ange. Sorry, Alex, but I love him. And he reminds me of my dad because he looks like my dad. So how can I hate that?
So Ellie, we will not get into Ellie's daddy issues,
No.
but Ben is saying, I'm the most positive person in the world until words Tottenham and Hotspur come out. Yeah, that's true. But
Oh,
I
Ben.
feel like that's what it's about being a fan. When I look at other teams, like when I look at Man United, when I look at Liverpool, when I look at Chelsea, I can be logical about their players. Like I don't hate, like some of the play, like McTominay, for example. I don't hate McTominay or Rashford the way they do, but like so I can be like I can say that, oh, this player has this good quality and this bad quality. I can be logical about other teams, but when it comes to
Yeah,
my own team, you just can't be that person. Like that's why it's so easy to praise the good things other teams do, but not praise your own team, or find a lot of criticism in your own team because you hold them up to a higher standard than you do other teams. Always, I think that's part of
yeah.
being a fan.
Yeah, part of being a fan is loving your club in the good times, the bad times, and the ugly times. All right. I would say we're between good and not so good sometimes. Like we're in between. We're the in between club. But remember we're fifth, right? With the chance of finishing in the top three or four if we have a good run and the other teams falter. So it's been a good season so far, and we've had a lot of ups and downs in the season, and we've obviously other clubs have as well. So we can't use that as a big excuse. But
Yeah,
like with us, the starting 11 is probably the best starting 11 where other clubs they've got bigger players who can come in and fill in for the starting 11. The clubs that are above us, all of them have. We haven't got such a strong squad. So I think we've done very, very well. And kudos to the way that Angie's bringing everybody together and playing the same style throughout the club. We've got to praise where praise is due, and criticism where criticism is due.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Coming back to what was the original part of the show, which is will he play or will he not play? Um,
Uh,
we discussed Richie and we discussed Pedro Porro. S- Pape Matasar. Do you Chang? Do you think Pape Matasar will play? And what do you think will be our starting midfield?
I will keep our starting midfield the same trio that played against Crystal Palace at home. I will keep Madison, Bentancur, and Bissouma as a midfield three. If either of those three aren't filling up to it, or if they are sorely lacking in pace and tenacity, then maybe a Bissouma for Sar or even Bentancur for Sar at some stage would do us a lot of good if we are losing that midfield battle. But other than that, you could see very clearly and obviously against Crystal Palace that it was actually the experience and also the know-how of Bissouma and Bentancur that held our defensive backline solid. It actually allowed Madison to operate so much higher up the pitch than say having someone lightweight and not too experienced like Pepe Matasar beside a Bentancur or a Bissouma. So unless Big Ange has a good reason or a very justifiable cause as to why Pepe Matassa should start at Villa Park against Aston Villa, I would actually maintain that same three midfield trio: Bentancur, Madison, and Bissouma. If Pepe Matassa were to see some game time, I believe it should maybe become in the second half. If one of those midfielders are feeling a bit laggy, or if they are not up to playing the whole 90 minutes at 100 miles per hour. But until likewise as such that Big Ange decides that Pepe Matassa is required, I would still maintain that midfield three.
Yeah, I think that we should preserve him. Ellie, what do you think? Oh, babe, before that, I
Um,
do have to say hi to Phil. Hi, Phil. How's it going? You
Phil,
good?
well, hello, Phil. Woo. Yeah. I
Ah,
disagree. I actually disagree. Not wholeheartedly, but I would start Pape Matessar because we need energy, we need legs. Because Villa are very good at popping the ball around, and one thing Matessar is not is weak. I think he's our strongest, fittest midfielder. He covers so much of the pitch. It's unbelievable how much he covers. All right. And he's so good at tracking back as well and helping the defence. And I think if Bentancur was fully fit and we had a 100% Bentancur, obviously I would start him, right? Basuma's gone off the boil a little bit. He's not really found his feet, but I would still start him over Bentancur because he's got that extra match fitness, and I think he plays the number six role very well. But I think they can interchange. And Basuma and Sarr, they had a fabulous understanding early season. Those first 10 games, they were cooking, those two, right? And they had a very good rapport with one another. And then Madison's free to do what Madison does. So I would start Sarr, Basuma, and Madison and have the secret weapon with Bentancur coming off the pitch and doing what he can in 30, 35, 40 minutes, even if the game's not going so well, or the last 25, 30 minutes if it is, right? Just to give that more experience, like Chang said. And I saw Bentancur play at the best 30 minutes against Aston Villa. He was absolutely sublime. And then Matty Cash happened to him. So listen, I would prefer that personally, and I think Ange will go with that. I've got quite good confidence that he's going to go with that.
yeah. I do as well. I agree with there was a comment here by Swap. I can't find it. Um, Look at Pedri and Gavi. So it's basically this, right? The youth, I feel like when you play them too often and they already are injured, sometimes it can become recurring injuries. So I just want to preserve him a little bit, just like if his back is not up to it, I don't want to like make it any worse. So I'd say bench him and bring him on last 20 minutes for a final push with energy. And Ben has just become a youth
Woo!
member. So
Well done, Ben.
Ben is now a
Bravo.
moderator and member. So he is a La Familia plus plus plus. Um, so uh,
He's part of the
Ben's
family.
not just La Familia. He's the Don's right hand man. That's what he
Yeah.
is. um, so yeah, coming back to Ellie, you were mentioning about cash. Now this is something that Spurs fans, like it is extra game activities, but this is something that Spurs fans have all sort of been, you know, biting at the chomping at the bit for. A lot of people kind of want, like I'm not saying that there are people advocating for violence, which there are. I will be honest, but there are a lot of people who wouldn't mind if in the 93rd minute accidentally Romero bumped into Cash and took him out accidentally, and then um, maybe got a yellow card or like some dark cards, or even if he got a red, we'd have Degution come in the next game. Like if he did it carefully in the 93rd, 94th minute. What do you think? Where do you stand on this Matty
I,
Cash hate?
I just don't think it's going to be an accident.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be intentional. Yeah, and I think there'll be some words voiced before the game in the tunnel. I think they're going to give him the eye and possibly bump into him accidentally, like give him a fair barge in the tunnel
Yeah.
before he comes out. I think there'll be some shithousery. Yeah, yeah, because you know what? If you get one over your opponent, and Matty Cash, he's no flouch. He will give what he can get, right? So I don't want us to wind him up too much early doors towards the back end of the match. You know, if we've got it under seal, you know, we've got the match under wraps. Sorry, yeah, give him a bit of a dig. Yeah, come on, either Romero or Bentancur himself, because Bentancur was not impressed, and he gave Matty Cash a dirty look when he got up from that injury that he had, and he tried to soldier on, but he just couldn't because his ankle had gone. So yeah, come on, the boys, give it to him. I'm all for that.
Yeah. And Daniel E is saying hate is a strong word to use, talking about box office. But I would say there is one player who I hate, and that is Matty Cash. I'm sorry, this is the second Spurs player that he's injured. He injured Doherty, he's injured Bentancur, and both the times when we really needed them to be fit. So, Chang, what do you think? Do you think that it would you be amused if we not so much accidentally uh ran into my cash?
I would say this about Christian Romero and his maturity now, his growth under Big Ange. And I would also like to very quickly just bring up this interview that Christian Romero gave after the Crystal Palace game, in which he was talking of how he has matured and grown as a player by cutting out all these unnecessary tackles, the uncalled for roughness, and the unsavory challenges that have picked up far too many yellow and red cards under previous managers like Nuno and Conte. For this particular feisty encounter over the weekend against Crystal Palace, if there was one particular game, if there's one game this season in which I would like to see Christian Romero show some restraints in the full 90 minutes that he is on the pitch, provided he can stay on the pitch, it will be this game against Aston Villa, because I don't need to remind any one of you who is watching this right now that earlier this season, in what we thought was the turning point of our club's fortunes against Chelsea at home, Christian Romero picked up that needless red card, although it was a rather unfortunate red card, but it was a red card all the same. That red card against Chelsea completely changed the complexion and the course of our season. And I would like him to not repeat that against Aston Villa, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, whether it's meant or not meant to be. This game shows some restraint. Let's end the game with 11 players. Let's try not to pick up any more unnecessary bookings, because we need all the players we can muster until the end of the season, because we have some very, very, very important games coming up. And if it helps the cause, if it does help us in ensuring that we get all 3 points with as little cards as possible in this game, then by all means, so be it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you where I stand on this. I would love it. I would love to see Matty Cash, eating some dirt. That would make my dream come true. Like I want to live vicariously through Romero. But the truth is, Chang is right. Like, Chang is the adult in the room, and he
Yeah,
is
it's
right.
a diplomatic answer.
Yeah. Um, um, he is right that it just we have to play the game and not the occasion. And
Yeah,
if we're playing the game, then we shouldn't be worried about Matty Cash. We should be worried about beating Villa. and those are not the same thing. So, I mean, technically, you are right. I wish that calmer heads would prevail and that we would not, like, beat Maddie Cash to like, or like just run into Maddie Cash. Oh wait, speaking about hi Leo. Sorry, Leo
Hello,
came in and I have to.
Leo.
Hi Leo.
Hello.
Hi,
And
Leo.
Hi, Leo.
we do got to say hi to a few other people as well. Stay Humble is here. Eugene is here, and Tequila is here. Um, and Jishnu is here as well. So
Listen.
uh, Maddie Cash is. I have three words: hack the bone. Yeah, my God, like Tequila. I really wish somebody would hurt this person. I just don't want to be retarded over it. So if we can, play the game for 90, 91 minutes, and in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we could have the hurt Mary Cash show somehow, dark arts, whatever. But because I
Yeah.
have a feeling that the refs are going to be aware that Spurs hate Mary Cash, so they're just going to be like waiting for that foul to happen because it will be premeditated then, and that could get us into a lot of trouble.
I think the
But
instruct. I think the instruction to Matty Cash, if he does play, is to wind us up to get a
yeah,
blanket off. So we got to stay disciplined, like
yeah,
Chang mentioned, but we can do a little bit of shithousery here and there, just to give him a little dig, not to get maybe pick up a yellow card or something in the tunnel. That'd be good. Or after the game finishes, just show him what we're all about. That we weren't happy what he did to Bentoncourt. Yeah.
yeah. And Ben is saying Bobby and I have corrupted everyone. For context, everyone, we said hi, Leo, so generously because of something that happened on the coffee company. So if you're curious, go watch the coffee company. And Tequila saying agree. Just have Romero two fitted just after the ref blows final whistle. Whoops. Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at, Tequila. I'm with you. After the
Yeah.
whistle, just a tiny little nudge here and there. You know. Um.
Like when you're walking off the pitch, put your leg out to trip him up.
Yeah. Exactly. Whoops. Um. So that there's a lot to talk about, but unfortunately, I have to go, and Ellie also has like to take care of Ange, and Chang has I'm sure like so many things to do because he's the busiest man on the planet. My God, he does like four things. He's also a dad, and he has his own like construction things that he's doing and the consultancy stuff, and he's everywhere on YouTube. Chang is the busiest man on the planet. My God. He also looks like the
And
most
the
Has
confused
it
luggage.
man on the
already been
planet right
90
now.
minutes? Has it already been
Uh,
90 minutes since we
yeah,
started? It felt like
yeah,
I felt like we just only started 5 minutes ago.
yeah.
I know.
So Chang, where can we find you next? Chang? Yes,
Well,
Chang, believe me,
both
I
me
said
and
the
Mr.
word.
Eugene
Oh,
and
it's very.
review show
Okay,
the
Chang is broken, but
co-hosting
Eugene is
the
in the chat.
upcoming review show
Um, Chang, you're lagging a
Am I
little
am I
bit.
am I back on? Am
So
I still broken?
I think his internet's gone. Ah,
okay, wait, I will
Let me
plug
try and
Chang.
fix this. Let me just give me a quick second while I
Ellie,
try and fix this.
yeah, Ellie, can we see you next in the meantime?
okay. So what is it today? Wednesday. So Friday, I'm on with Kate and Mia. We're doing a new Prem show with all three of us. So it's going to be good. Tune in, everybody, because you're going to see myself, Mia, and Kate giving you all the news from the Premiership, all our predictions, and reviewing our match especially against Aston Villa. So yeah, just a girl loves Spurs. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Big up Kate, Mia, and Ellie. they will do an awesome job. You all have to tune in for that. Chang clearly we still don't have, but everyone can catch Chang on Persuasion TV with Eugene, who is also here. If Chang's internet comes back, I will find the link for you. But until then, Chang, are you there?
Chang's gone to get Matty Cash, I think.
Yeah, so Chang is
He's
saying his
gonna
next
talk to him.
appearance is on Persuasion TV on Friday at noon with Mr. Eugene. So make sure everyone catches that. Talking today we have a 4 o'clock show on El Tel Cockerel, not on Talking Ball. So everyone, make sure you subscribe to El Tel Cockerel so that you're notified for the 4 o'clock UK time show over here. And tomorrow there is a 4 o'clock show on Talking Ball. So make sure you come for that as well, everyone. Just so that you don't miss the wonderful Jose and Colin, who do such a
Yeah.
great job of giving us everything Spurs related.
They do. Keep on West Ham, brilliant. And
Yeah.
Jose's asked Jose anything. He's mop up.
Jose's mop
shows
up.
are brilliant, really good.
Yeah, if
I
you all
enjoy
want to
them.
get, I'm sure you all want to like attend that, get your predictions in later in the week, all of that. So then for all of that, you have to subscribe to El Tel Cockerel and catch every show on Talking Ball and on El Tel Cockerel. I will see you soon. Thank you, Ellie, for joining us.
My
I know that you've
pleasure.
been having
Always a
a
pleasure
difficult
with
time.
you, Ash. Always a pleasure to be on screen with you, Ash and Chang. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed myself immensely.
I think we have a rotating buffering screen where Chang is supposed to be. So hi, buffer. Thank you for buffering for us. And that brings us. Oh, there we go. We have Chang. Thank you, Chang, for being there. It was an amazing show. And as usual, we play you out with the James Madison song. I hope that we win on Saturday. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
On you, Spurs.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never believe.